Hello and welcome back to the Baby Loss Mindfulness series. This is part of our Butterfly project, which is a project set up to help the baby loss community. And it's a project that uses relaxation and mindfulness as a way to try and help reduce some of the suffering that we are experiencing following loss. I'm Lucy, I'm a bereaved mum. I'm also a mindfulness for loss teacher. And I'm here each week to bring you either some familiar ideas or some new ideas. I don't really know where you are at with your mindfulness and relaxation journey. You might be completely brand new to all of this. So I'm here every week to bring to you a different theme. And we did relaxation last week, and I will be revisiting relaxation because it's a huge topic. But I have a little bit of a plan with where I want to take things, just to introduce everybody to all of these concepts. And what I want to do is to delve more deeper into mindfulness and how we can use that to help us to navigate our way forwards following loss. Now, mindfulness has been a really big part of my life for a number of years. It actually kind of deepened for me when I lost Ellie. I lost Ellie at 23 weeks. And um, prior to that, I had been practicing just meditation, which was just deep breathing or relaxation, because I actually experienced anxiety, and I experienced anxiety for quite a number of years. I lost my twin brother when we were 15. And obviously, following his death, there was a lot of anxiety that followed that. So I came across mindfulness because I wanted to deepen my meditation practice, and I'd heard that it really would really help, and I was really curious to find out what it was and what it meant. So I just signed up for an 8-week course through the Breathworks organization, who are wonderful. And I then did the 8-week course. Absolutely found it so beneficial. It just made a lot of sense. It helped to reduce some of the suffering that I was experiencing, not all of it, because obviously I was grieving. But it just really helped me to gain a lot of perspective and to really learn how to speak more kindly to myself and give myself time. And it helped me to acknowledge how I was feeling, and how, when we push our feelings down and we don't really acknowledge what's happening, how that can cause more suffering, and then lead to tension in the body and affect sleep and all these different things. So I really found it helpful. So much so that I then later embarked on my own teacher training, official teacher training, mindfulness teacher training, that is, with Breathworks. And that's been an ongoing journey for the past few years. And it's something that I'm really passionate about, because as a mental health nurse, it really helps with the patients that I see, that I work with. And as a bereaved mother, it's really helped me and helps me to cope with the loss of Ellie, and learn that amongst suffering, there can also be joy, and we can hold those two things together at the same time. So mindfulness has been really helpful. So for those of you that don't really know what it is, then mindfulness is it's a kind of a whole set of practices. I guess it's a way of life. It's all about being present, being aware of our thoughts, our emotions, being aware of our actions, being aware of the moment that we're in. Really taking everything in, um, really acknowledging that there's so much beauty in the world as well, amongst all of this crappy stuff we get. Um, it's basically just being aware. So there's loads of great descriptions of mindfulness. One that I like in particular is mindfulness is paying attention on purpose, with curiosity, without judgment, and with kindness and compassion. So when we really learn to pay attention to what's happening in the mind, in the body, it helps us to understand and recognize what we might need, what might be helpful, what isn't helpful. It helps us to recognize that this situation that we're in now how we feel now in this moment is temporary, because we change. Things change. Sometimes we're happy, sometimes we're sad, sometimes we're angry. But, our state of mind, the way that we are, is never fixed. It's changeable. The way that we develop awareness, and you'll be probably familiar with this, is through the practice of two things actually. So we've got mindful awareness in daily life. So that's paying attention, bringing that present moment awareness to our activities throughout the day. And then we've got the formal practices, which is the meditation practices. So this is where we would take our awareness to usually the breath or the body, and really just focus on what we're experiencing in that moment, to be curious. So, and by it's kind of mind training in a sense, because we are taking our awareness to a particular thing. If that's the breath, for example. So when we focus on that one thing, it strengthens an area in our brain, which helps to strengthen the area of paying attention. So that, when we strengthen this area of paying attention, when we go out into the wider world after we've sat and done a formal meditation practice, we'll start to notice more. We'll start to notice more of how we're feeling, what are our thoughts doing. Start to notice more of all of the beauty in the world. There's so much beauty right now. I mean, I can hear the rain now as I'm recording this, and I really, really love the rain. And yeah, I mean, just having that awareness of the natural world and how healing it can be. Um, so it's basically paying attention to what's happening, and also we're doing this with kindness. This kindness is a huge part. It's been a huge part of my training with breathworks, just bringing in this kindness and compassionate tone to our experience, because I know that when I lost Ellie, so what happened is I had a termination for medical reasons with Ellie. Ellie's heart hadn't formed properly, but I spent a lot of time before I actually started applying mindfulness. I spent a lot of time thinking that it was my fault and believing that it was something that I did, and speaking really negatively to myself about my experience, about what had happened, blaming myself, and all this extra negative commentary just led to more suffering, more anxiety. It led to me feeling like I couldn't sleep. I felt very anxious and very tense, and but I wasn't really aware of how I was speaking to myself. And it was only really when I started practicing mindfulness and developing this awareness, and this awareness got bigger, I was able to kind of think, hang on a minute, this is actually not helping me. Me talking negatively to myself and blaming myself for Ellie's death is not helpful, and it's making me feel a lot worse. And actually, I didn't have any evidence to even validate that those thoughts and the way that I was feeling and what I was thinking, they're just thoughts. And mindfulness helped me to recognize that thoughts are not necessarily always facts. And I think when you can understand that thoughts are not facts, it's really freeing for a lot of people, because you can think, hey, hang on a minute, I don't have to think this way. I have a choice. And actually, these thoughts in my mind, I've just made them up. And when you can start to understand that you can separate yourself from that thought and understand it's just a thought, and you can kind of create a bit of space, it just helps to alleviate some of that suffering. So we develop this awareness through the practice of meditation, and there's lots of different meditations within the mindfulness world. But touching on that idea of compassion, there's a wonderful self-compassion meditation that is really, really helpful. And I have that already planned as one of our weekly sessions, actually, this idea of self-compassion. But for this week, I wanted to record just a really simple breath awareness meditation. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I want to introduce you to a really simple meditation practice which will help to strengthen this area in your mind to help you develop an awareness. Um, and it's a really basic breath awareness practice. It should also help if you are somebody who really struggling with anxiety. It should really, really help to help you to move into that parasympathetic state, that relaxed state that we talked about last week. It should help to settle the body down. Um, Maybe not entirely, but it should help to reduce some of that. And I want you to know that meditation isn't, it's not something that you need to be concerned about. We're not trying to empty our mind of thoughts. That's not the aim here. With mindfulness, we don't do that. We can't empty our mind of thoughts. The brain thinks it's what it does. But what we're doing in a mindfulness based meditation is we're actually acknowledging that thoughts come in and thoughts will pass. And sometimes those thoughts are quite charged. We'll really want to jump into those thoughts. But um, if we can understand that those are thoughts and we are here and those are our thoughts, and we can separate ourselves from that while still acknowledging that thoughts are there, then it's a really helpful process when we engage in meditation, because we start to enjoy it a lot more, because we're not trying to do this impossible thing of trying to empty our mind of thoughts. I've worked with so many people who say, Lucy, I can't empty my mind, or I can't switch off. Well, in meditation, we are not trying to switch off. We're trying to switch on. We're switching on to the present moment and what's happening now, what's real now. So as you listen to this recording, this moment right now, as I'm talking to you, this is your life right now, unfolding right now. It's not what's happened in the past. It's not what's happening in the future. It's not what's going to happen in 2 minutes from now. It's right now. And so many of us spend so much time either here and not here. And often when you spend time here, it's a much nicer place to be, even if you are suffering. Because what tends to happen for a lot of us, and I'm certainly a victim of this, is we start to imagine a future without our baby. We start to imagine the birthdays that they won't have. We start to imagine, what about if people forget about my baby? How would that look? So we start to kind of imagine these scenarios in the future. And what that does is it makes us feel not very nice, does it? It doesn't help. It might make us feel anxious. It might make us feel sad. And all of this is just imagined, isn't it? It's just an imagined thought. So, or even we go the other way, we kind of look into the past. I don't think there's anything wrong with reflecting on an experience. I'm not saying don't think about the past, I don't think about the future. But I think what mindfulness helps us to do is it helps us to recognize that we have a choice, and it helps us to be more skilled in what we choose to place our attention on. So if we are focusing on the past and that's actually upsetting us, then we might choose in that moment, well, I'm not going to think about that now. Or I might choose to journal instead, because that feels a little bit more therapeutic. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to do something really nice for me. So, yeah, I mean, I think mindfulness is a wonderful tool in which to help. I mean, it's not for everybody, but you might be watching this series and thinking, yeah, I absolutely get that, and that really feels like something I do want to explore and I want to start practicing. So the meditation this week then is the mindful breath awareness meditation, and like I said, you don't have to be a particular type of person to practice meditation. It's secular mindfulness, which means it's not kind of any type of religion. It's basically just taking the principles from its original roots, and it's just applying them in a sense that we can all relate to. And, all I will say is try and find somewhere to rest comfortably without any distractions. Use any cushions or blankets if you need. Even in terms of your clothes, if you're somebody who gets really hot, make sure you wear a vest top or a cardigan that you can pull on and off if you're experiencing fluctuations in your body temperature. and, turn your phone off, or just pop your notifications off so you're not thinking about that. And like I said, your mind will wander and you will probably find it hard, but meditation is a practice. I have been practicing meditation. How long now? I can never really remember. I feel like it might be about 8 years. Um, it was during my second year of uni. So I've been qualified for quite a number of years now. So yeah, I've been practicing meditation, and even now, sometimes I come into a practice and I'll struggle. Think, oh God, my mind's so busy today and I can't concentrate, I can't focus. But then this is where this kindness and compassion comes in. I might think to myself, well, okay, well, this is how I am. This is how I am today. And what I'm going to choose to do today is just to acknowledge the way I am, the way that I'm feeling, and I'm going to notice my breath. And when my mind wanders off, which it will, I'm going to gently and kindly bring it back. And it's that repetition. And that repetition, that is what is helping us to develop that awareness, because it's the magic moment in mindfulness. When your mind wanders off and you notice, that is when you are switched on. That is when you are here in this present moment right now. So mindfulness is, I think it's a wonderful tool. And, I think it's wonderful when used with a lot of other different modalities. But I really think it's worthwhile having a go. And, this is a real self care practice, in my opinion. We can be mindful at any time. We can be mindful. We can be mindful when we're washing the dishes by paying attention. We can be mindful when we're making a cup of tea, just flicking the kettle on and actually choosing not to do anything, just to watch that kettle boil and make that cup of tea. We can be mindful when we drink the tea. We can take in the aromas. We can feel the heat on our hands. We can choose just to be in that moment. And like I said, being in the present moment is a much nicer place to be, really. So that's kind of what mindfulness is, and what it means. I'm sure there's lots of other different descriptions of mindfulness, and there's lots of books and videos that you can watch and read. And next week I'm going to be talking a little bit more about awareness, but also this idea of primary and secondary suffering, which was a real game changer for me when I first discovered mindfulness and how it can be helpful. So do stay tuned. Also, as well, while we're on the call, I do have a meditation live session that I will be hosting. So that will be on, let me just check what day I'd set it on. Have a see. I can never remember a lot of things. So I am a teacher on the popular meditation app Insight Timer. And the meditation app is an app that you can download for free. It's got thousands of meditations on there. One of the really cool things that it does is it helps teachers go live. So on Sunday the 18th of July, so that's not this Sunday, next Sunday when I'm filming this, I'm going to be going live at 12 o'clock, and I'm going to be delivering a meditation all around dealing with difficult emotions. So please do tune in for that if you want to. All you have to do is download the Insight Timer app and you can access that there. I'm hoping there's lots of people that's going to attend, because I just think there's some real kind of value in the connection of our community, knowing that even though we might feel alone in our suffering, that we're not, that there's other people who, like us, are suffering. So if you want to join me, you're more than welcome. And do let me know how you found the meditation track last week. I have got some wonderful messages from parents who've listened to the track, the relaxation track, who said that it was helpful. So do let me know how you're finding it. And I hope that you enjoy the mindfulness track this week, which is a breath awareness track. So sending all my love to you wherever you are in the world. You take care. And until next time, I will see you soon. See you later, everyone. Bye.